Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 4080 in GTA 5. We're going to visit Jack and everything, kill Bob, which is always amazing, of course, and it's Christmas as well, so Merry Christmas, everybody that's watching this video. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys had a great time or are having a great time with your families, and let's move on with the video now. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers as usual, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU 0 resettable bot is enabled, and this has 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And over on the left, we're pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X3D with half of its cores disabled, because we're only utilizing the CCD with 3DV cache. And over on the memory tab, we're using 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM in dual channel CL30. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. We're starting at 1080p resolution. Yes, 60 Hz. That's because of the capture card. Anyway, moving on. 8 times MSAA, because if you use a lower MSAA value here in this game, it will just stutter like crazy, because if you reach 188 frames per second, it's the engine limit in this game, and it will stutter. And we're using the maximum settings aside from post effects, which is set to normal. This introduces a lot of bloom and motion blur, and I don't like it. Advanced graphics are all turned off. These are very intensive. I mean, we could use them with the 4080. We'll get there, okay? Let's go ahead. Don't care about this. And let's play the good old GTA 5. Oh no. Oh no, this is terrible, guys. We're getting 188 FPS, so that means that it will stutter. Oh boy, look at that. That's the engine limit that we're reaching right there, guys. It's not possible. We need to use advanced settings in order to not stutter in this game with the RTX 4080, or we need to lock the FPS. The GPU is too strong, and since locking the FPS defeats the whole purpose of benchmarking, I'm actually gonna enable these settings, alright? I don't usually use these settings, but hey, it's needed in order for it not to break the engine, so here we go. Hopefully we won't be CPU bound. Yep, we're not CPU. It's still reaching high FPS. Are you serious? Come on, mate. Let's go. Okay. It's not getting 188 anymore, but it's still super high, and I think it will still touch 188, so it will still stutter. Yep, there we go. Sometimes it doesn't really show the value 188, but it starts stuttering like crazy like this, so what the hell? What should I do? I guess we'll need to lock the FPS, right? Oh boy, we're basically at max settings in the game. Aside from post effects, and it's not a great experience because the FPS are too high. You know what? A lot of people might actually have this problem with 40 series GPUs. GTA is just stuttering and I don't know why. Well, if you are one of those people, it's because you need to lock the FPS, okay? So, without further ado, I don't like stuttering. I will lock the FPS. Alright, we're using exactly the same settings, still 8 times MSAA and everything, and now I locked it to 165 frames per second using RiveTuner Statistics Server, and basically we'll get 165 FPS all of the time. It's fluctuating a little bit, yes, but that's just because of the lock, you know. Actually, it's dropping into the 150s. Okay, now it is a very, very smooth experience, guys. It doesn't really seem like it is utilizing 8 times MSAA, because some things are still shimmery, but it's probably because I am using a 42-inch monitor for this. That's obviously a very big size for 1080p resolution, and that's why it shimmers a little bit still. Come on, don't explode. Sometimes this explodes, you know. Now, the thing is, whenever we get to grassy areas with 8 times MSAA, things drop like crazy. And as you can see, we're now down to the 100-ish FPS mark, which is still very good, obviously. You can easily play like this, but it's not as smooth of an experience anymore. Hello, Jack. How's it going? Merry Christmas to you, my friend. It's nice to see you here during Jack? Did you hear him? He said like, BAM! Alright, you go do your things, buddy. I won't really bother you anymore. It's my Christmas gift to you, friend. Anyway, yeah, unfortunately, we do lose a ton of FPS with 8 times MSAA here in the grassy area. But the good thing is, if you want to get super high refresh rate experience anyways, you can set MSAA to 4 times instead, and now it gets locked 160 all of the time again, even in grassy areas like this one, while looking pretty much the same, especially on a 1080p display. It's gonna look very, very similar. Where is Bob? No, this is outrageous. Where the heck is Bob? Is he celebrating Christmas? He's not allowed to celebrate Christmas. Come on. I dictate the rules here in GTA. Where the hell is that bastard? No, this can't be, my friends. This can't be. We need to come back here, reload the game, and kill Bob. Like, he's ruining Christmas for somebody out there. I know it for sure. But anyways, that's the experience here at 1080p. Not a lot of people are playing at 1080p with a 4080, I hope. So let's bump it up to 1440p. Here we go. It's 2560 by 1440 now, using the same 4x MSAA that we left it with, and the same maximum settings aside from the post-effects quality. These ones are still enabled, set to the maximum, and so on. And yeah, with 4x MSAA at 1440p, it still maxes out the FPS counter, guys, at 188 sometimes. Most of the time, if you're moving, it doesn't, because we're CPU bound at the moment with those advanced settings enabled. But as you can see, it still spikes here and there, so it's not good. And if you stop, it's not rendering in everything super fast, like from the world around you, so it goes up to those 188. And GPU is not even maxed out. It could go even higher if it wasn't for the engine limit. So yeah, 4080 is quite a beefy GPU indeed. It's not only the 4090. Let's go ahead and set it to 8x MSAA next. And finally, we don't need to lock the FPS for a smooth experience, my friends, because it's fully GPU bound at around 140 FPS, 130 on average at the moment. So it is gonna be smooth. Alright, all you need to do is set it to 8 freaking times MSAA, which is kind of insane at 1440p actually. Like, I have played this game a lot, I have tested it with a ton of GPUs, of course, and I know what it looks like with different MSAA settings and so on, even the ones that we aren't really testing here today. And I can tell you that at 1440p, with like a 27-inch monitor, you get diminishing returns. Oh, there's Bob over there. When you set it to 4x MSAA, okay? Like, it does look a little bit better than 2x at 1440, 27 inches, but 2x is the sweet spot in my opinion. Goodbye, Bob! Go to hell! I knew you weren't celebrating Christmas because you're a terrible person. Oh no, this is Bob! This is clearly Bob. He's running away. He doesn't want to get killed. Obviously, who wants to get killed, right? But alright, we killed Bob and I guess his friends, so we restored the balance in the universe. That's what we did there, okay? No problems. Also, I'm not sure what kind of FPS we were seeing, but I doubt it dropped from 60 FPS, although the 1% lows are very, very close to 60 frames. So yeah, if you want a higher refresh rate experience, you already know, drop that MSAA setting, maybe set it to 4x or 2x. You're always gonna see like 120 plus FPS then, or 144 plus FPS then, but you will need to lock the FPS. That's very, very important. Otherwise, the experience is going to be terrible. Now, let's bump it up to the resolution that this GPU is meant for. It's 4K. Here we have it, 3840 by 2160. Should we keep 8x You know what? Let's keep 8x MSAA for now. It's completely insane to use MSAA 8x at 4K resolution. It's well beyond diminishing returns, you know. Even at native res, at 42 inches, it looks great, it looks sharp, a bit shimmery, yeah, but nothing that 2x MSAA wouldn't solve. And it's also nothing that I would complain about. It's just a little shimmery, you know. But here, it's so sharp. It's like, it's really, really sharp. Not as sharp as increasing the resolution to 8K in a monitor like this via DSR. We'll do that, obviously. But it's still very, 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 very sharp. I can't see any shimmery edge. Even like the power lines and stuff look pin sharp. But we do get less than 60 frames per second. And also, I'm actually happy that I decided to test MSAA 8x here at 4K, because somebody told me in a comment in my 4090 video in GTA 5 that they were getting like 15 to 20 frames per second using the exact same settings that we're utilizing at the moment, but with a 4090 instead and a 14900K CPU. That's impossible, my friend, okay? You would be seeing like 80 FPS or something like that. The 4090 is a lot faster than the 4080, okay? Well, maybe not 80 FPS, but around like 70, I would say. 60 plus most of the time for sure. I still want to go to Jack's Hill. We're pretty close to it, I think. So I'm gonna go here right away. There's some vegetation. We can take a look at it here. Yep, dropping down into the 30s. Yeah. That is rough. It becomes pretty rough. I would definitely not recommend this, but 4080 is still doing a decent job here, given the insane settings we're seeing, right? Oh boy! Oh, please don't explode! Damn it! Damn it! Why did you... Ah! Okay. Well, that's enough of 8 times MSAA. It's enough craziness. Let's turn it down to a measly 2 times MSAA, which is definitely all you need at 4K resolution. Again, I'd argue you don't even need that. And wow, we're back to a high refresh rate experience, my friends. Look at that, 100 plus frames per second. It might actually drop here and there, especially in grassy areas like Jack's Hill, but... once again, this is pin sharp. It's noticeably more shimmery than 8 times MSAA was, but that's just because I'm using 42 inches here. It's really, really nice here. And this is probably how I'd end up playing this game with the RTX 4080. So if you have this card, these are some very good settings. Maybe I would even disable the advanced settings just because I feel like they don't really deliver. Are you serious? I feel like those settings aren't really worth the performance drop. Oh, we have a friend this time. No, don't leave me. Come on, buddy. Oh, we're gonna visit Jack. Oh, nice lens flares, by the way. I like that. Okay. Anyway, a little bit of a different time of the day here. It's nice to see some variation here. Yes, definitely. I was saying that I would probably disable the advanced settings, but you know what? I remember that maybe with those disabled, we would see 188 FPS sometimes, so nah. Just use these settings, they're perfectly adequate anyways. You don't need like 144 FPS locked 100% of the time either in GTA 5, so this is plenty enough in my opinion, and it looks really gorgeous at the same time. And this is without any mods and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're using mods, I would probably disable MSAA because you lose a lot of performance with some of them. But well, this is the performance right here. Getting 70s, 69 1% lows for a second, but now it went down to 68. Look at that sunset. Oh, it looks great, guys. GTA 5 is 10 years old. It's actually going to be 11 years old in just a little bit. It still looks pretty nice, especially compared to all of the recent titles that are really soft. This, having the visuals without any TAA added to them is nice to see, right? Not really specifically at 4K, like most games look great at 4K native resolution, even with TAA. But at like 1080p, if this was a recent title, we would have seen a super, super blurry image instead of a shimmery one, and I prefer a shimmery image to a blurry image. But that's just me. Maybe all of the developers in the world think otherwise. That's why they implement TAA in every single game out there these days. Enough ranting, okay? Let's stop it right there. I'm curious to see it without any MSAA. Okay, so I'm just gonna disable this. Oh my god. Oh, little stutter there. So it's starting to go up in FPS. And again, you don't really need to achieve 188 for it to actually stutter. Sometimes it will stutter even though you aren't achieving that. Like at 150 plus, if you aren't really locking the FPS, it's very hit or miss, okay? Come on, I'm just really curious to see it here. Drops into like the 100s. Come on, oh yeah, okay, into the 80s now. Lower 80s at times. No problems. It's never gonna drop. It's never gonna drop. Bleh. It's never gonna drop from 60 frames per second. That is very good. All right, obviously like the 4090 it delivers a way better experience here. You could lock it, for example, to like 144 and it would stay there and get that on average. But that doesn't mean that the 4080 is a bad card. It's badly priced, that's for sure, but it's definitely a very fast card still. I see a ton of people sometimes saying that the 4080 is not really a big upgrade over like a 3080, for example, and they're almost the same. Actually, sometimes I make videos on the 4080 and people say that their 3080s are getting the same FPS in the same settings. Well, that's complete BS because this is like 50% faster than 3080 still. So it's not a slow card by any means. It's definitely worse value than a 3080, but it is a fast card nonetheless. Let's move up to 8K resolution without any MSAA. Obviously at 8K we don't need that. And here we have it, 7680 by 4320, same maximum settings aside from post effects. Advanced graphics are still turned on and set to the maximum. Ooh, starting to struggle, are we, 4080? Now, I'm actually gonna load the previous game because it's not daytime anymore and it's starting to look very dark. Ooh, nice. Oh, look at that. It's actually a bit more intensive here, at least. Getting 30s. I don't like 30s, and I feel like it would actually drop from 30 FPS in Jack's Hill. Definitely, since it's getting 30s right here. So I'm gonna disable the advanced settings now. So now we need to compromise to get a playable and or an enjoyable experience, okay? Now, it's getting almost the same FPS. We hardly gained any frames. Of course, most of those advanced graphics settings are CPU bound. That's why, guys. Now at 8K res, ooh, I'm so sorry. That's a very tragic accident, but she's alive. She's alive. Everything is fine. At 8K, I'm a little bit disappointed, I gotta say, my friends. Just like with the 4090, I was a little bit disappointed as well. The 4090 in this game only got around 20 more FPS than my 3080 Ti. And although I'm not really using the exact same settings, I don't think I use like PCSS or whatever the shadow quality setting is at the moment with the 4090 or the 3080 Ti. This should have been a lot faster, that's what I'm saying, as well as the 4090 in this particular title. These GPUs should have been a lot faster. I was expecting better performance from them at 8K resolutions. Now, obviously, this is still a bit insane if you think about it. It's like playing on 4K monitors at the same time and achieving playable FPS still, right? But it's nothing that we haven't seen last generation. In this particular case, not like all of my other videos that I told you about that people said that the 3080 would get the same FPS as my 4080. In this particular case, I think the 3080 Ti in my video that I made like a year ago or so, maybe a bit longer, it was getting around the same FPS. I remember seeing a 45 and I'm pretty sure it got 45 FPS average, so it is the same as this one is getting. I guess maybe at super ultra high resolutions like this one, maybe the 30 series had a bit of an advantage over the 40 series, okay? But that's definitely not the case in reasonable resolutions that people actually use. Hello, Jack. How's it going? Looking beautiful here at 8K resolution. Also, all of those little leaves of grass. All of the leaves of grass, you can see them from far away as well. It's just insane. 8K is a joy to look at sometimes. Of course, this is an older title, but it still looks pretty decent, especially when you start utilizing these insane, crazy high resolutions. Like, the amount of detail at the distance is kind of crazy. Wow. You can see, like, the bridge over there, the little lines, not a single shimmery edge anywhere, even without any anti-aliasing. Crazy stuff, right? Anyway, we can go higher, my friends, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. First of all, I'm gonna do 1.5 times frame scaling, and what this does is multiply the vertical resolution by 1.5 times. So that means that we're playing at 12K resolution. And this is what we get with the 4080. VRAM is almost maxed out now, at 15 gigs, almost. Whoa, it's really crazy. I mean, you can't really tell much of a difference. Maybe it's slightly sharper, ever so slightly sharper than at 8K. We lose a ton of performance as well. But I'm impressed that it's still not maxing out the VRAM utilization. I thought at 12K we would see that maxing out. All right, not bad, 4080, not bad. I can still play around. It's still providing a cinematic experience, you know. So, I'll take it. Obviously, if you lower the graphics settings, you could actually make it playable at 12K, but I'm gonna lower them at 16K. That's the maximum, my friends. It's 2 times frame scaling mode. There is a 2.5 times option, but that doesn't work because the limit in DirectX is actually 16K. Okay? So if I set it to 2.5 times, it just crashes instantly, but if I set it to 2 times, it doesn't crash instantly, as you can see. We're playing at 16K resolution. This is essentially the same as 16 4K monitors at the same time. That is absolutely insane to think about. Holy crap. Obviously, it's completely unplayable at this point, and we are actually running out of VRAM now. It already swapped some of the things that should be on VRAM into the RAM, and the RAM usage is a little bit higher than it should be, but whoa. It's still walkable. Come on. All right, I think, yeah, we completely filled the VRAM now. It started loading some other areas of the map, and VRAM is completely maxed out, and RAM is going up to like 17.5 gigabytes of usage, and we're getting 2 FPS. So, well, if you want 16K gaming with double digits for longer than like 5 seconds, you'll need a 4090. Is it worth it? Maybe. It's actually better value than this. That's why a lot of people hate on the 4080. Now, I'm gonna keep this as is, and I'm gonna set it to like normal settings, the lowest settings in the game, just to see how many frames we can get. I'm not gonna test this in the multiplayer, by the way, because that's just more CPU intensive. It's not really more GPU intensive. So in situations where you aren't CPU bound, you'd see exactly the same FPS as in single player. I'm gonna restart this. All right, so we're getting double digits this time around, guys. 20s. I'm gonna go over the settings again, so you know that I'm not joking or anything. Like 7680 by 4320, normal settings here, and the 2 times over there on the frame scaling mode, which means 16K is now giving us a cinematic experience, I would say. Yeah, 24 FPS is cinematic, so here you go. If you want to play GTA 5 as a movie with insanely high resolution, you can, but it's not ideal. Definitely, this is actually pretty terrible. Like, comparing this to the 4K experience, 4K looked so much better just because of higher settings. It doesn't even compare, right? But look at this, we're actually managing to play with essentially 16 4K monitors at above 30 frames per second on average at the moment, so that's actually kind of insane if you think about it. The 4090, I think, didn't really drop from 30 FPS using these settings. I don't remember, though. It was a while ago. It was probably like a year ago when I made that video. Oh, everything is okay. Yes, all good. We're gonna see Jack again in 16K. It's good to be back, my friend. It's good to be back in this particular title. I just like GTA 5. It's one of my favorite games to benchmark because of Jack, obviously, and I get to kill Bob as well in the same game. It's amazing. It's amazing. Hello, Jacqueline. Well, we haven't really seen Jacqueline yet, so here she is. Now everything is complete. No grass, by the way, on normal settings. That's very interesting as well. So it doesn't really drop as much here as it did, for example, in Michael's house. But now it does drop because we still have the bushes here. Yep, look at that, 18 FPS. All right, and Bob is here as well, finally. Goodbye, Bob. Yeah, do not even bother trying to fake death. I am death. I will kill you. And that's been it. That's the spirit of Christmas, my friends. Christmas. That's been it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.